The morning started like any other day for Captain Li Huan. He stood on the bridge of his submarine, watching the calm ocean surface through the periscope. The Rox Docto moved quietly beneath the waves, running a routine patrol near the Korean coast. His crew worked at their stations, checking instruments and monitoring sonar signals. Dr. Park Mira was on a research vessel 20 miles away, studying marine life patterns. She had spent 3 years documenting changes in fish behavior. Today felt different, though. Her instruments showed strange readings from the deep ocean. The fish were moving in unusual patterns, swimming away from the deepest parts of the sea. "Captain, we're getting weird signals on sonar," said Petty Officer Kim Dae. He adjusted his headphones and frowned at the green screen in front of him. "Something big is moving down there." "Really big." Li Huan moved to the sonar station. The screen showed massive objects rising from the ocean floor. They were too large to be whales and moving too fast to be natural. "How many contacts?" "At least 12, sir. Maybe more. They're coming up from the Mariana Trench area." Meanwhile, Admiral Cho Hyun was in his office at the naval base when urgent messages started flooding in. Reports came from ships all over the Pacific Ocean. Something was happening in the deep waters. Satellite images showed dark shapes moving beneath the surface. Dr. Park Mira watched her instruments with growing alarm. The water temperature was rising rapidly in the deep ocean zones. Marine animals were fleeing toward shallow waters. Her radio crackled with emergency messages from other research vessels. "This is Research Station Alpha," came a panicked voice. "We're seeing massive objects breaking the surface. They're not human vessels. Repeat, these are not human vessels." The first alien ship broke the ocean surface near Hawaii. It was enormous, shaped like a giant jellyfish made of dark metal and glowing lights. Water poured off its sides as it rose from the depths. The ship was twice the size of an aircraft carrier, with tentacle-like structures hanging beneath it. Within hours, similar ships appeared in oceans around the world. They emerged from the deepest trenches and underwater canyons. Each ship was different but shared the same organic sea creature appearance. They moved through the water with fluid grace, like living beings rather than machines. Captain Li Huan received urgent orders to surface and observe. As his submarine rose, he could see the alien vessel on the horizon. It floated half-submerged, its bioluminescent panels creating patterns of blue and green light across its hull. "Sir, we're receiving some kind of transmission," reported Kim Dae. "It's not radio. The signal is coming through the water itself." The message was clear even though the language was unknown. The tone was commanding, threatening. Admiral Cho Hyun and military leaders worldwide tried to respond, but the aliens ignored all communication attempts. Dr. Park Mira's research vessel was one of the first to encounter the aliens directly. A smaller alien craft approached her ship, moving silently through the water. The beings inside looked like giant octopi with glowing skin. They had multiple arms and large intelligent eyes. Their technology seemed to be part machine, part living organism. The aliens studied the human vessel for several minutes, then sent a message. The meaning was simple and terrifying. "Leave the water. This domain belongs to us now." The first attacks came without warning. Naval ships from different countries tried to approach the alien vessels. The aliens responded with weapons that shot bright blue energy beams. The beams cut through ship hulls like paper. Within minutes, destroyers and cruisers were sinking. Captain Li Huan watched in horror as the surface fleet above him was destroyed. The alien weapons were silent underwater, but he could see the flashes of light and the ships disappearing from his sonar screen. "Captain, orders from Admiral Cho Hyun," said his communications officer. "All submarines are to remain submerged and avoid contact with alien forces." The aliens, who called themselves Thalassans, began establishing underwater cities. They used massive construction machines that looked like mechanical whales. These machines carved out spaces on the ocean floor and built strange structures from materials they brought with them. Dr. Park Mira escaped the initial encounter and made it to a military base. She worked with Admiral Cho Hyun to understand what they were facing. The aliens were clearly aquatic beings. They moved naturally in water and their technology was designed for underwater use. "They think we're just land animals," Dr. Park Mira explained to the Admiral. "They don't see us as a threat in their domain. That might be our advantage." The Thalassans spread across the ocean floors quickly. They built cities in deep trenches and underwater mountain ranges. Their bioluminescent lights could be seen glowing from the deepest parts of the sea. They began changing the water itself, making it more suitable for their kind. Within the first week, all surface naval forces were either destroyed or forced to retreat to harbors. The aliens controlled the shipping lanes and surrounded coastal cities. They didn't attack the land, but they made it clear that the oceans belonged to them now. Captain Li Huan and his submarine crew found themselves among the few military forces still operating in alien-controlled waters. The Thalassans seemed to ignore submarines, perhaps seeing them as harmless metal tubes that couldn't challenge their dominance. "Sir, we're getting reports from submarines worldwide," Kim Dae informed the captain. "The aliens don't seem to detect us when we're running silent." This gave Admiral Cho Hyun an idea. If the aliens underestimated human submarine capabilities, perhaps that could be turned into an advantage. He began coordinating with submarine commanders from other nations. Dr. Park Mira studied the alien behavior patterns from her new position at the naval base. The Thalassans were efficient but seemed overconfident. They had taken control of the oceans easily and now acted like the threat was over. As the first week ended, the aliens had established themselves as the new rulers of Earth's waters. They had underwater cities, patrol vessels, and complete control of the ocean surface. Humanity seemed helpless against their advanced technology. But deep beneath the waves, human submarines continued to move in silence. The Thalassans had won the first battle, but they had made one crucial mistake. They had underestimated the species that had learned to hunt in the deepest, darkest places of their new domain. Captain Li Huan stared at the sonar display showing alien vessels above. His submarine was invisible to them, a ghost in their conquered territory. He didn't know it yet, but he and his fellow submarine commanders were about to become something the aliens had never expected. They were about to become hunters in the deep. 3 days after the invasion, Commander Yoon Seok received his orders. His submarine, the Rox An Yonggun, was to remain hidden and gather information about the alien forces. The world's surface navies were gone, destroyed in less than 72 hours of fighting. Lieutenant Bae Yoon checked the torpedo tubes for the third time that morning. "Sir, all weapons are ready, but we still don't know if our torpedoes can hurt their ships." "We'll find out when the time comes," Yoon Seok replied. He studied the charts showing alien positions. The Thalassans had spread across the Pacific like a plague, setting up bases in every deepwater location. Chief Petty Officer Lim Jong worked in the engine room, keeping their nuclear reactor running as quietly as possible. Every sound mattered now. The aliens might not see them, but they could still hear them if the submarine made too much noise. Above them, alien patrol vessels moved in formation. Their bioluminescent hulls created moving patterns of light in the dark water. The Thalassans used these light patterns to communicate with each other, flashing messages across vast distances. Ensign Kang Soo monitored the radio frequencies, listening to desperate messages from around the world. Coastal cities were cut off from supply ships. Islands that depended on ocean trade were running out of food. The aliens had strangled human civilization by controlling the seas. "Commander, we're picking up a distress signal," Kang Soo reported. "There's a cargo ship about 10 miles north. It's under attack." Yoon Seok moved to the periscope. Through the lens, he could see the merchant vessel trying to escape from 3 alien attack craft. The human ship was slow and defenseless. Blue energy beams cut across its hull, starting fires on the deck. "Sir, should we help them?" asked Bae Yoon. Yoon Seok watched the cargo ship listing to one side as more alien weapons hit it. His orders were clear: stay hidden and avoid contact. But watching innocent people die without helping felt wrong. "Prepare torpedo tubes 1 and 2, he commanded. The crew moved quickly to ready their weapons. Lim Jong increased power to the torpedo systems while maintaining silence. Everyone knew this would be their first real test against alien technology. "Target the lead alien vessel," Yoon Seok ordered. "Set depth for shallow run." The torpedo launched with a soft thud that echoed through the submarine. Everyone held their breath as the weapon raced toward its target. The alien ship continued its attack on the cargo vessel, unaware of the threat approaching from below. The explosion lit up the underwater world. The alien craft broke apart in a flash of white light and sinking debris. The other 2 alien vessels stopped their attack immediately, searching for the source of the torpedo. "Direct hit, sir," Bae Yoon reported with excitement. "The alien ship is destroyed!" But their celebration was short-lived. The remaining alien vessels began scanning the water with bright searchlights. Strange sounds echoed through the ocean as they tried to locate the submarine. "All stop," Yun-seok commanded. "Silent running. No unnecessary movement." The submarine drifted quietly in the water while the alien ship searched above them. Minutes passed like hours. The crew barely breathed as alien sensors swept the area. Finally, the alien vessels gave up their search and returned to their patrol routes. The cargo ship had escaped during the confusion, its crew probably wondering what had saved them. "Sir, they couldn't find us," Kang-soo whispered in amazement. "Even after we attacked them, they still can't detect our submarine. This discovery changed everything." Yun-seok immediately sent an encrypted message to Admiral Cho Hyun and other submarine commanders. Human torpedoes could destroy alien ships and submarines could remain hidden even after attacking. Within hours, similar reports came from submarines around the world. A British submarine had sunk an alien supply vessel near Gibraltar. A Japanese submarine had destroyed 2 alien scouts in the Philippine Sea. Russian submarines reported successful attacks in the Arctic Ocean. The aliens began to realize they had a problem. Their advanced sensors could detect large surface ships easily, but these small underwater vessels seemed to appear and disappear like ghosts. The metal hulls of human submarines somehow avoided their detection systems. Admiral Cho Hyun called an emergency meeting with submarine commanders who could surface safely near Allied bases. Commander Yun-seok found himself in a secure communication room, talking to submarine captains from around the world. "Gentlemen, we have discovered something important," Admiral Cho Hyun began. "The aliens cannot detect our submarines when we run silent. This gives us a unique advantage," a German commander spoke up. "Our submarines are successfully hunting their patrol vessels, but they're starting to adapt. They're traveling in larger groups now, and they're avoiding areas where submarines might hide," added an American captain. "They're learning to fear the deep water." Dr. Park Mira joined the meeting via video link. She had been studying captured alien technology and intercepted communications. "The Thalassans are starting to call our submarines metal fish in their language. They're genuinely confused about how we can move unseen in their domain." Commander Yun-seok shared his experience. "After we destroyed their ship, they searched for hours but found nothing. I think their sensors are designed to detect biological signatures or energy emissions. Our steel hulls and nuclear reactors must be invisible to them." The meeting continued for hours as they planned coordinated attacks. Each submarine would target alien supply lines and isolated patrol vessels. The goal was to make the aliens afraid of deep water areas they had claimed as safe territory. Back on his submarine, Yun-seok prepared his crew for their new mission. They would become hunters moving through alien-controlled waters and striking without warning. "Listen up," he told his crew. "We're no longer just gathering information. We're going to make these aliens regret coming to our planet." Bae-yoon smiled as she checked the torpedo inventory. "How many alien ships should we plan to sink, sir?" "As many as we can find," Yun-seok replied. "The aliens think they own our oceans. It's time to show them they're wrong." Lim Jong made final adjustments to the engine systems. The submarine would need to run perfectly silent during their hunting missions. Any mechanical noise could give away their position. Kang-soo plotted courses through areas with heavy alien traffic. Supply convoys moved between their underwater cities every day, following predictable routes through deep ocean trenches. As night fell, the Rocks on Jung-gun began its first official hunting mission. The submarine moved like a shadow through the water, approaching an alien supply convoy that included 6 vessels carrying construction materials. "Target acquired," Bae-yoon reported quietly. 3 escort vessels and 3 cargo ships. Fire when ready," Yun-seok commanded. The torpedoes launched in sequence, each one aimed at a different target. The alien convoy had no warning before the explosions began. In less than 2 minutes, 4 alien vessels were sinking to the ocean floor. The surviving aliens searched frantically for their attacker, but the submarine had already disappeared into the darkness. Their lights swept through empty water while the hunters moved on to find their next target. Around the world, similar attacks were happening. Human submarines struck alien forces in every ocean, then vanished before retaliation was possible. The Thalassans were learning that their conquest of Earth's waters was not as complete as they had believed. In their underwater cities, alien commanders studied reports of the mysterious attacks. The metalfish were becoming a serious problem. one they had not anticipated when planning their invasion. The war for Earth's oceans had truly begun. Captain No Jin had been hunting aliens for 2 weeks when he received new orders. His nuclear submarine, the Rux Zhangzhou the Great, was to join an international task force under Admiral Cho Hyun's command. Submarines from 12 different countries would work together for the first time in history. Lieutenant Commander Oyuna spread the tactical charts across the navigation table. "Sir, we're assigned to Grid 7 Alpha. Intelligence reports show a major alien construction site in the Mariana Trench. What are they building down there?" asked Master Chief Han Gil. The veteran submariner had served for 25 years but had never seen anything like this war. Dr. Xin Wu, the naval intelligence analyst assigned to their submarine, studied the reconnaissance photos. It appears to be a massive underwater city, much larger than anything they've built before. We think it might be their main command center for the Pacific. The International Submarine Coalition had grown stronger each day. American, British, French, German, Japanese, and Korean submarines shared information and coordinated attacks. The aliens were learning to fear certain areas of the ocean, but they were also adapting their tactics. "Captain, we're getting reports of new alien weapons," Oyuna informed him. "They've deployed something our people are calling biomechanical hunters. Living creatures with machine parts attached." No Jin had heard rumors about these new threats. Submarines had reported encounters with massive eel-like creatures that could generate electric fields and had metal armor grafted onto their bodies. The aliens were using Earth's own sea life against humanity. The Rux Zhangzhou the Great descended toward the Mariana Trench, moving carefully through layers of water with different temperatures. No Jin had developed new tactics using these thermal layers to hide his submarine's heat signature. "Sonar contact," reported the sonar operator quietly. "Multiple targets bearing 270. Large signatures moving in formation." Through the periscope, No Jin could see lights moving in the deep water. An alien convoy was transporting construction materials to their city project. But something was different about this group. Strange shapes moved alongside the regular vessels. "Those aren't normal alien ships," Master Chief Han Gil observed. "They're too organic-looking." Dr. Xin Wu checked his alien identification charts. "Those are the biomechanical hunters. They're using them as escort vessels now." The hunters looked like giant electric eels, but with metal plating along their sides and glowing mechanical eyes. They moved through the water with natural grace while scanning for threats with their enhanced senses. "Sir, we have a problem," the sonar operator reported. "One of those creatures is turning toward us. I think it detected something." The biomechanical hunter broke away from the convoy and began swimming directly toward their position. Its electric organs started charging, creating a buzzing sound that echoed through the water. "Emergency dive," No Jin commanded. "Take us down to the thermal layer." The submarine dropped quickly into colder water. The temperature difference would mask their heat signature, but the creature was still approaching. Its mechanical sensors were more advanced than natural sea life. "Prepare torpedo tubes," No Jin ordered. "If that thing gets too close, we'll have to fight." The hunter creature circled their position, searching with electric pulses. Each pulse lit up the water with blue-white energy. The submarine's hull conducted some of the electricity, causing lights to flicker throughout the vessel. "Contact lost," the sonar operator reported with relief. "The creature is returning to the convoy, but their presence had been detected." The alien convoy changed course and called for reinforcements. Within an hour, the area was swarming with alien patrol vessels and more biomechanical hunters. "This complicates things," Oyuna said as she tracked the enemy movements. "We can't attack the convoy with so many escorts." No Jin studied the tactical situation. A direct attack would be suicide, but they needed to stop the aliens from completing their underwater city. He made a decision that would change submarine warfare forever. "We're going to try something new," he announced to his crew. "Instead of attacking the convoy, we're going to hunt the hunters." The plan was dangerous but simple. They would target the biomechanical creatures one at a time, using the submarine's superior maneuverability in deep water. The hunters were powerful, but they were still adapted for natural movement patterns. The first engagement happened near an underwater mountain. A biomechanical hunter was patrolling alone, searching for submarines in the rocky terrain. No Jin positioned his submarine above the creature, using the rocky overhang as cover. "Target acquired," the weapons officer reported. "Range, 800 meters. Fire," No Jin commanded. The torpedo struck the hunter in its mechanical section, where the armor was thickest. The explosion damaged the creature's artificial organs, causing it to writhe in pain and confusion. But it was still alive and very angry. The wounded hunter turned toward the submarine, charging its electric organs to full power. The water around it glowed with deadly energy as it prepared to attack. "Evasive maneuvers," No-Jin ordered. "Use the terrain." The submarine dove behind a rocky outcrop just as the creature released its electric charge. The energy dissipated against the rocks, but the force was strong enough to damage any vessel caught in the open. "Second torpedo ready." "Sir," the weapons officer reported. "Wait for my command," No-Jin said. He was learning the creature's attack patterns. The hunter needed time to recharge between electric bursts. When the creature moved around the rocks to find them, No-Jin was ready. The second torpedo hit the hunter's natural head section, killing it instantly. The massive body sank toward the ocean floor, its mechanical parts sparking as they died. "First biomechanical hunter destroyed," Oyuna reported with satisfaction. Word of their success spread quickly through the submarine network. Other commanders began adopting similar tactics. The biomechanical hunters were powerful, but they could be defeated with patience and skill. The battle for the Mariana Trench lasted 3 days. 12 submarines from different countries worked together to attack the alien construction site. They used coordinated strikes to overwhelm the defenses and destroy the partially built city. Captain No-Jin led the final assault, guiding his submarine through the alien structures while firing torpedoes at critical support points. The underwater city collapsed in a cascade of debris and escaping gases. "Target destroyed," Master Chief Han-Gil reported as they watched the alien city fall. "That's the biggest victory we've had yet, but the victory came at a cost." 2 submarines were lost during the battle, one to a biomechanical hunter and another to alien defensive weapons. The war was becoming more dangerous as both sides learned new tactics. Dr. Xin Wu analyzed the wreckage of the alien city as they departed the area. "This will set back their construction efforts by months," he calculated. "But they'll rebuild somewhere else. Then we'll destroy the next one too," No-Jin replied. "And the one after that." The International Submarine Coalition had proven that human forces could work together to achieve major victories. The aliens were learning that their conquest of Earth's oceans would not be easy. As the Rux Zhengzhou the Great returned to base, No-Jin reflected on how much the war had changed. Submarines were no longer just gathering intelligence or conducting hit-and-run attacks. They were fighting major battles in the deepest parts of the ocean. Admiral Cho Hyun's strategy was working. The aliens were being forced to defend multiple positions instead of expanding their territory. Every day, human submarines struck new targets and disappeared before retaliation was possible. The Thalassans had taken control of Earth's surface waters, but the deep ocean was becoming a battlefield where humanity held the advantage. In the crushing darkness of the deepest trenches, human submarines moved like wolves among sheep. The aliens were beginning to understand that they had made a serious mistake. They had underestimated not just human technology, but human determination to fight for their world. The war for the oceans was far from over, but momentum was shifting. The hunters were becoming the hunted, and the deep water that the aliens had claimed as their domain was becoming their greatest vulnerability. Captain Ryu Min had been studying alien behavior for 3 months when he made a discovery that would change the war. His stealth submarine, the ROX Isunsen, was the most advanced vessel in the Korean fleet. Designed specifically for deep water operations against the Thalassans, Lieutenant Seo Ha worked at the navigation station, plotting courses through underwater canyons where alien forces had retreated. "Sir, we're approaching the target area. Alien patrol frequency has dropped by 60% in the last week. They're afraid," observed Torpedoman First Class Park Jun as he prepared their special weapons. "The aliens are avoiding the deep trenches where they used to feel safe." Sonar technician Lee Na made the breakthrough discovery while monitoring alien communications. She had been listening to their bioluminescent signal patterns for weeks, learning their language through sound frequencies that traveled alongside the light signals. "Captain, I think I've figured out how to disrupt their communications," Lee Na reported excitedly. "Their light patterns create specific sound frequencies in the water. If we can generate counter frequencies, we can jam their messages." Ryu Min studied her findings. The aliens used complex patterns of colored lights on their ships to communicate across vast distances. But these light patterns also created subtle vibrations in the water that could be detected and interfered with. "Show me," he commanded. Li Na activated her experimental equipment. She had modified the submarine's sonar array to produce specific sound frequencies that would cancel out alien communication signals. When she tested it, the alien patrol vessels in the area suddenly stopped their coordinated movements. "It's working, sir," she reported. "They can't talk to each other while we're jamming their signals." This discovery led to the development of new tactics called phantom protocols. Human submarines would create false sonar signatures to confuse alien sensors while simultaneously jamming their communications. The result was that alien forces would think they were under attack from multiple directions at once. Park Jun had been working on modified torpedoes designed specifically for psychological warfare. These weapons would explode in patterns that created terrifying sounds in the water, sounds that resembled the calls of massive sea monsters. "The aliens seem to have instinctive fears just like any species," he explained to the crew. "These sound patterns trigger their panic responses." The first test of their new tactics came when they encountered a large alien supply convoy moving through the Puerto Rico Trench. Instead of attacking immediately, Ryu Min decided to implement the phantom protocols. "Begin jamming their communications," he ordered Li Na. "Park Jun, prepare the psychological warfare torpedoes." The alien convoy immediately became confused when their communication lights stopped working. Ships began moving in random directions, trying to re-establish contact with each other. Their formation fell apart as panic spread through their ranks. "Deploy decoy signals," Ryu Min commanded. Li Na activated devices that created false sonar contacts throughout the area. The aliens detected what appeared to be dozens of submarines surrounding them, when in reality there was only one. Their escort vessels scattered in all directions, trying to engage targets that didn't exist. "Fire the psychological torpedoes," Ryu Min ordered. Park Jun launched specially designed weapons that exploded in sequence, creating a symphony of terrifying sounds. The explosions mimicked the calls of legendary sea monsters from alien mythology, sounds that triggered deep-seated fears in the Thalassan nervous system. The effect was immediate and devastating. Alien crews abandoned their posts and retreated to the deepest parts of their ships. Some vessels fled the area entirely, leaving their cargo ships defenseless. The convoy that had started with 12 ships ended with only 3 vessels limping away in terror. "Sir, we destroyed 9 alien vessels without them ever seeing us," Seo Ha reported in amazement. They defeated themselves. Word of this success spread quickly through the submarine network. Other commanders began adapting the phantom protocols for their own operations. Within weeks, similar psychological attacks were happening in every ocean. The Thalassan started reporting encounters with ghost submarines that appeared to be everywhere at once. Their military reports described impossible scenarios where single human vessels seemed to multiply into entire fleets, attacking from all directions simultaneously. Admiral Cho Hyun called Captain Ryu Min to a secure video conference with submarine commanders from around the world. The phantom protocols were being implemented globally with remarkable results. "Gentlemen, we're witnessing something unprecedented," the Admiral began. "Enemy morale is collapsing. Alien forces are refusing to enter deep water zones they previously considered safe territory." A British commander shared his experience. "Our submarines are operating in areas the aliens have completely abandoned. We're finding empty underwater bases with equipment still running, but no crews. The psychological impact is beyond our expectations," added an American captain. "Some alien vessels are fleeing at the first sign of human sonar, even when we're not attacking." Dr. Park Mira joined the conference from her research facility. She had been analyzing captured alien communications and psychological profiles. The Thalassans are naturally deep-water creatures, but they're developing a phobia about the very environment they're supposed to control. Captain Ryu Min explained his crew's latest innovations. "We've learned to use the ocean's natural acoustics to amplify our psychological warfare. Sound travels differently at various depths, so we can make our submarines seem to be calling from the deepest trenches." The phantom protocols evolved into more sophisticated operations. Submarines would work in coordinated groups, creating the illusion of massive underwater fleets hunting alien forces. They used sound patterns that resembled the migration calls of ancient whales, but distorted to sound threatening and unnatural. Li Na developed new jamming techniques that not only blocked alien communications, but also fed false information into their networks. Alien commanders received reports of human submarine attacks that never happened, creating paranoia and confusion throughout their forces. "Sir, we're interceding reports that some alien crews are refusing deep-water assignments," she informed Captain Ryu. "Min, their commanders are having to threaten punishment to get crews to patrol the trenches. The war was entering a new phase where human submarines didn't need to destroy alien forces directly. They could defeat them simply by making them afraid to operate in their own conquered territory. The deep ocean, which had been the aliens' greatest advantage, was becoming their greatest weakness." Park Jun perfected the silent kill technique, where submarines would disable alien vessels without destroying them completely. The goal was to let some aliens survive to tell others about the terrifying encounters with human ghost ships. "Fear spreads faster than facts," he explained to his fellow crew members. "One alien survivor telling stories about phantom submarines is worth more than 10 destroyed ships." The phantom protocols reached their peak effectiveness during an operation in the Mariana Trench. A single submarine, the Roxy Sunsin, convinced an entire alien battle group that they were surrounded by a massive human fleet. The aliens abandoned their positions and retreated to shallow waters, leaving behind valuable equipment and intelligence. "Captain, we just received a priority message from intelligence," CO Ha reported. "Alien forces are requesting permission to abandon all deep trench operations. They want to withdraw to surface waters only." Ryumin smiled as he read the intercepted communications. The aliens who had conquered Earth's oceans in a matter of days were now afraid to venture into the deepest parts of their own territory. The hunters had truly become the hunted. The Thalasan High Command was facing a crisis they had never anticipated. Their most experienced deep-water crews were reporting psychological trauma after encounters with human submarines. Some aliens were developing what human doctors would recognize as post-traumatic stress disorder. "Sir, we're receiving reports that some alien installations are being abandoned without any human attacks," Lena reported. "They're evacuating just because they think we might show up." The Phantom protocols had succeeded beyond all expectations. Human submarines controlled the psychological battlefield as well as the physical one. The aliens' conquest of Earth's oceans was crumbling from within, destroyed by their own growing fear of the depths they had claimed to rule. In the deepest, darkest places of the ocean, human submarines moved like legends come to life. They had become more than just military vessels. They were the nightmares that kept alien forces awake in their underwater cities, wondering when the ghosts would come for them next. Commodore Kim Jae stood in the command center of the underwater base that had been impossible 6 months ago. Built using captured alien technology, the facility operated 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean, in what had once been enemy territory. Captain An Bo commanded the experimental submarine Rox Sejong, the first human vessel designed specifically to fight the alien war. Her ship incorporated Thalasan bioluminescent communication systems and hybrid propulsion technology that made it nearly silent in the water. "Commodore, we're receiving reports from all sectors," Lieutenant Zhang Yu announced as he reviewed incoming messages. The Special Operations Diver had just returned from a reconnaissance mission to an abandoned alien outpost. Enemy forces are retreating from deep-water positions across the globe. Chief Warrant Officer Song Hee monitored electronic warfare systems that now included alien communication networks. Human forces had learned to intercept and decode Thalasan military traffic, giving them advance warning of enemy movements. "Sir, we're picking up desperate communications from alien command structures," Song Hee reported. "They're arguing about whether to continue deep ocean operations or retreat to surface waters entirely." The war had reached a turning point that no one had expected. The aliens who had conquered Earth's oceans in 3 days were now abandoning the deepest zones after 6 months of submarine warfare. Human forces controlled vast areas of the ocean floor that had been alien territory just weeks before. Captain An Bo prepared for her most ambitious mission yet. The first successful boarding of an alien command vessel. Intelligence indicated that a damaged Thalasan cruiser was operating alone in the Philippine Trench, cut off from reinforcements by coordinated submarine attacks. "All systems green," she reported to Commodore Kim Jae. "We're approaching the target area. The alien vessel appears to be running silent, probably trying to avoid detection." The Rox Sejong moved through the water like a hybrid creature, part human engineering and part alien biotechnology. Its hull generated the same light patterns that Thalassen ships used for camouflage, making it nearly invisible to alien sensors. Lieutenant Zhang Yu and his special operations team prepared for the boarding mission. They wore modified diving suits that incorporated alien breathing apparatus, allowing them to survive in the chemically altered water around enemy vessels. Target acquired, Anbo announced. The alien cruiser is heavily damaged and operating on emergency power. This is our chance. The boarding operation was unlike anything attempted in naval warfare. Zhang Yu's team swam through the water using alien propulsion devices, approaching the enemy vessel from below where its sensors were weakest. "We're at the hull," Zhang Yu whispered through his communications device. "Beginning infiltration procedures." The alien ship's biomechanical hull allowed the divers to cut through using captured Thalassen tools. They entered through what appeared to be a breathing pore in the ship's organic sections, finding themselves inside corridors filled with breathable liquid instead of air. "This is incredible," one of the divers reported. "The aliens don't breathe air at all. The entire ship is flooded with oxygenated fluid." Zhang Yu led his team through the ship's passages, following intelligence maps created from previous reconnaissance missions. Their goal was the command center, where they hoped to capture valuable information about alien plans and capabilities. The ship's crew was in a state of panic. Many Thalassens had fled to the deepest parts of the vessel when they detected the boarding party. The few aliens they encountered seemed more terrified than aggressive, swimming away quickly when they saw the human divers. "Command center located," Zhang Yu reported. "The area appears to be abandoned." The crew evacuated when they realized we were aboard. Song He guided the boarding team through the alien computer systems using translation software developed from months of intercepted communications. The information they discovered was shocking and encouraging. "Commodore, you need to hear this," Zhang Yu transmitted from the alien ship. "We've accessed their military communications network. The Thalassen High Command is considering a complete withdrawal from Earth's oceans. The captured communications revealed the extent of alien demoralization. Crew rotation schedules showed that experienced deep-water personnel were being replaced with inexperienced volunteers because veterans refused deep ocean assignments. Morale reports indicated widespread fear of human submarine operations. They're calling us the Silent Death," Song He translated as she processed the alien data. Their crews believe human submarines are supernatural creatures that can appear anywhere without warning. Captain Anbo successfully extracted Zhang Yu's team along with massive amounts of alien intelligence. The boarding operation proved that human forces could now operate inside enemy vessels, a capability that would have been impossible at the beginning of the war. Commodore Kim Jae reviewed the captured information with growing amazement. The aliens had technological superiority, but they were losing the war because they could no longer function in the environment they had conquered. "Look at these patrol schedules," he pointed out to his staff. "They're avoiding 60% of the ocean zones they controlled 3 months ago. Some areas haven't seen alien patrols in weeks." The human submarine network had evolved into something resembling a pack-hunting strategy, coordinated wolf pack operations, targeted alien supply lines while Phantom Protocol missions created the illusion of massive human fleets operating throughout the deep ocean. Admiral Jo Hyun called a global strategy meeting as reports poured in from every ocean. The situation was changing so rapidly that previous tactical plans were becoming obsolete. "Gentlemen, we're witnessing the collapse of alien naval operations," he announced to submarine commanders worldwide. "Enemy forces are retreating to shallow coastal waters where they're vulnerable to conventional surface attacks." A French commander reported similar findings from the Atlantic. "Our submarines are finding abandoned alien facilities across the mid-Atlantic ridge. They're leaving behind equipment worth millions of credits." "The psychological warfare campaign has exceeded all expectations," added a Japanese captain. "Some alien installations are sending distress signals just because they think they detected submarine activity in the area." Dr. Park Mira had been analyzing the captured alien data and psychological profiles. Her findings revealed the depth of Thalassen demoralization. "The aliens are experiencing what we would classify as severe collective trauma," she explained to the assembled commanders. "Their natural instincts tell them to retreat to the deepest, safest parts of the ocean. But that's exactly where our submarines are most effective." The tide of war was turning so quickly that human forces began establishing permanent bases in former alien territory. Underwater installations were built using hybrid technology that combined human engineering with captured alien systems. Captain Anbo's successful boarding mission led to a series of similar operations. Human special forces began capturing alien vessels intact, providing massive amounts of intelligence and technology. Some alien crews surrendered without fighting when they realized they were being boarded. "Sir, we're receiving surrender offers from isolated alien outposts," Song He reported during one of the daily briefings. "They're requesting safe passage to surface waters in exchange for abandoning their installations." The war was entering its final phase, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The aliens who had conquered Earth's oceans in a matter of days were now retreating from the very territory they had claimed. Human submarines had turned the deep ocean into a hunting ground where alien forces could not survive psychologically. Commodore Kim Jae stood on the observation deck of his underwater base, watching human submarines patrol waters that had been enemy territory just months before. The sight would have been impossible to imagine when the war began. "The deep ocean belongs to humanity now," he said to Captain Anbo as they watched the patrol formations. The aliens learned too late that conquering territory and holding it are very different things. The Thalassans had made a fatal error in their invasion strategy. They had underestimated not just human military capability, but human adaptability and determination. In trying to claim Earth's oceans as their domain, they had awakened predators perfectly suited to hunt in the deepest, darkest places of their conquered territory. The final phase of the war was about to begin, and this time, humanity would be writing the terms of engagement.